Hello and welcome to Tuesday's ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the Thames Valley. Families take on the government and a Berkshire drugs company in the High Court over pills they say caused birth defects from the 1950s to the 70s.
Some people are living totally dependent lives and their quality of life is ruined.
When do we get to read this?
New friendship in one of the most expensive parts of the country. How home sharing in Oxfordshire is providing companionship and affordable living.
Also tonight, the virtual wards giving patients healthcare from the comfort of home. But is technology the answer to NHS waiting times?
And the military veterans on a 1,200-mile kayaking challenge along the most dramatic of coastlines in the Pacific. Good evening. A woman from Windsor who believes her heart was damaged by a hormone pregnancy test is among more than 200 people taking a Berkshire pharmaceutical company to the High Court.
The drug Primodos was given to women to test if they were pregnant from the 1950s until the late 1970s. Campaigners say it caused serious birth defects and they're the victims of what they call the forgotten thalidomide.
The Reading-based drug company Bayer denies those claims. From the High Court, Phil Hornby.
This is the drug, a hormone pregnancy test taken by more than 1 million women, which campaigners blame for a host of birth defects. For decades and decades they've been campaigning, determined to prove a link and to get an apology and compensation.
I'm one of the lucky ones because my heart damage is not severe. But every time we come to these meetings, other children have died and passed away. And so, this is very serious.
What are you hoping this week will achieve?
We really want to be able to get an apology from Bayer.
Some people are living totally dependent lives and their quality of life is ruined.
Over the years, we've heard from politicians from all parties sympathetic, saying something must be done.
Yes, well, that's another point. Matt Hancock actually apologised publicly on TV last year.
I want to issue a full apology to those who've suffered and their families.
And now the government are trying to strike us out and stop us giving our evidence. There doesn't seem to be any justice or any sense or logic.
The current Health Secretary wasn't saying much today.
Well, there is a court case on that, so it's important that one allows the legal process to follow its course. So you wouldn't expect ministers to comment on issues that are before the court.
And the drug company, who are based in Reading, say Bayer denies that Primodos was responsible for causing any congenital anomalies in children, miscarriages or stillbirth. Bayer is defending the cases that have been filed in the High Court, and they point out previous legal challenges failed to prove any link. The campaigners, though, fight on. How frustrating is it that this has taken so long and we're still not at the end?
I cannot express my frustration enough. Last time I walked out of this building was with a chap called Jamie. Now he's dead. We've got to get justice for those people who were severely damaged.
This case is expected to last all week. Phil Hornby, ITV News at the High Court in London.
A teenager who drowned in the River Thames over the weekend has been named. Jake Smith, who was 17 and from Swindon, went swimming with a group of friends at Lechlade on Sunday evening and didn't resurface. His body was found yesterday. Members of Jake's family say the support they've received has been overwhelming and shows the love that people had for him.
A man has appeared in court charged with the rape of a woman as she walked along a main road in Reading. The woman in her 30s was attacked on the A329 Oxford Road shortly after 11 p.m. last Thursday night. Police say she didn't know her attacker. A 37-year-old man from Northern Ireland was arrested on Friday and appeared at Reading Magistrates Court earlier.
Teachers in Oxford say they're fighting for a better education for children as they took part in their latest walkout today. A picnic at Oxford South Park was organised by the National Education Union on the 5th day of national action this year. The government has described the strikes as extremely disappointing. Another rally took place in Bracknell.
The education system is broken. It's been so underfunded for so long that we can't afford the basics in classrooms, and so we need them to make sure that they fully fund pay rises to keep people in the profession.
We've had below inflation pay rises for the entire time I've been in education, and at some point that has to stop.
We're losing highly skilled teachers all the time. Teacher recruitment levels are at an all-time low. It's going to be a real struggle for everyone from here on, and I do genuinely worry about what's going to happen in schools in the near future.
Headlines: and 6 people, one as young as 13, have been arrested after fighting broke out following Reading's match against Wigan on Saturday. One of the fights happened on the A33 near to KFC at Reading Gate Retail Park at around 5 o'clock. Another incident happened just outside the stadium. All 6 people have been released on bail. Police are describing it as a significant incident of disorder and are appealing for any mobile phone footage.
Double Olympic gold medalist James Cracknell has entered the race to become the next Conservative MP for Henley. The 50-year-old champion rower is bidding to be chosen by the Tories as their next candidate at the next general election, after John Howell, who's been Henley's MP since 2008, announced he would not be standing again. The South Oxfordshire Conservatives say it will select a new candidate in due course.
Nominations have opened for this year's Pride of Reading Awards. Celebrating the town's community heroes, charities and other good causes, the Pride of Reading Awards have been taking place since 2004. Anyone who wishes to nominate should head to the awards website. The deadline for nominations is August the 4th.
Now, with parts of the Thames Valley among some of the most expensive places to live in the country, a scheme run by Age UK and Oxfordshire Council is linking up people needing affordable rents with older people looking for a bit of extra help or some company.
Charlotte Brea Edney has been to meet home sharers in Oxford who say they've met the perfect match.
Are we both looking hungry?
I think so.
It's now a ritual, having a chat over a cup of tea or glass of wine. Since 41-year-old student Mary moved into 91-year-old Sarah's home 3 months ago, the pair spend a bit of time together most days.
Just the fact of coming home to find somebody there, somebody comfy to talk to. I was just dead lucky that I got a perfect person.
Sarah was very welcoming, but it took me a little while to be like, okay, I know where things are, I know how this works, this is comfortable now.
Sarah approached Age UK about their home sharing scheme after her husband died. It's a common reason people her age want someone to live with them.
We've been married for 66 years, done everything together, already reached a stage where I've got to age 90, start learning how to be on my own. A house that was empty and filled with sadness suddenly turned into a house of laughter and fun.
Mary, meanwhile, was doing a master's degree at Oxford Brookes, but wasn't enjoying life in student halls. Originally from Seattle, she applied to HomeShare looking for a sense of community on a student budget. No mean feat in Oxford.
It's much more affordable, like half the price or even less than that, to be able to live in a way that I really enjoy.
The scheme is run by Age UK, who act as matchmakers, ensuring the expectations and, crucially, personalities of both parties are a good fit.
Some people, they might want a lot of companionship, in which case we'd find somebody who felt equally sociable. There might be other householders who, for whom it's more about just having somebody around, but they want to have quite sort of arm's length relationship, and of course that's fine. So we'd look for somebody who equally enjoys their own space and their own privacy, but happy to come together for certain things at certain times.
When do we get to read this?
Mary helps Sarah with technology. They also cook and watch films together. Home sharers are expected to give their hosts some of their time for companionship or practical help. Both women say it's a great arrangement.
Wonderful. I couldn't be a better person. I feel that we look after each other in a way.
I mean, it's been more than I expected in terms of getting to be with this person that I enjoy being with. And also her stories are incredible.
With a job starting in the NHS, Mary plans to stay with Sarah. Even on payroll, she'd struggled to afford a place of her own in one of the priciest cities in the country. Plus, they both have something money can't buy, a new friend. Charlotte Brewer-Edney, ITV News, Oxford.
So heartwarming. I wonder if there's room for one more. So
Yes,
important.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being here with us this evening. Still plenty more to come on the programme tonight.
Including the veterans preparing for a 1,200-mile kayaking adventure along one of the most dramatic coastlines in the world.
And a challenge of a different kind at the county ground as Swindon Town are once again on the search for a new manager. We'll have the latest.
Remember, for more news from right across the Thames Valley, please go to our website, itv.com/Meridian. You can call us, the number's on your screen. It's 0808 1010 095. And remember, you can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter and on our Instagram page.
Actress Emma Watson will be returning to the University of Oxford this September to study. The 33-year-old is most famous for playing Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter films, of course, which was part filmed there. According to the university's student newspaper, she'll be studying an MA in creative writing. She previously attended the university in the 2011 to 2012 academic year.
An artist who paints windows using snow spray has been creating special designs ahead of the King's coronation this weekend. Tom Baker created this royal image at a hair salon in Sandhurst. His other designs include this image of Charles and the late Queen in Fleet. Hopefully we're going to see that soon. Windsor Castle is also on display at the Three Horseshoes pub, and that's in Godalming.
Beats the odd snowflake, doesn't it, really? The largest crowd in 6 years gathered for May Day festivities in Oxford yesterday. It's estimated more than 16,000 people packed the High Street and Magdalen Bridge to welcome the start of spring and hear the choir singing from the top of the Great Tower. It makes it the largest gathering since 2017 in a tradition that stretches back more than 500 years.
From banking to shopping to dating, it can feel like there is an app for everything these days, and that now includes apps for hospital patients so they can access their healthcare from the comfort of their own home.
Well, some of them are known as virtual wards, and it's hoped they can help to speed up recovery as well as free up hospital beds. But is technology the answer? With more, here's Amrit Birdie.
Just start some walking. So if you want to get your clip and pop yourself out.
Living with a heart condition can be challenging and often involves close monitoring by doctors and nurses of things like your blood pressure, heart rate and exercise. But for patients at this clinic, much of their monitoring is done virtually via an app.
They're able to track their activity, their walking activity, and they're able to track blood pressure, so they can pop the blood pressure on there and see what's going on. They can also monitor their weight and their height and obviously keep an eye on BMI because that's obviously important. They can also put appointments on here as well, so it's reminding them to come to appointments.
For some patients, the app also serves as a daily reminder to take their medication, which they might otherwise forget.
It's like actually having the cardiac rehab team sort of just on call 24 hours a day. Everything's there. And for people like me, there's checklists in there. There's checklists about the medication I take, making sure that I take it every day. I've got a memory like a sieve, so I keep forgetting.
It's hoped that by introducing these so-called virtual wards for patients to be supported at home, hospital beds can be freed up more quickly. At the beginning of this year, NHS England reported over 14,000 beds were being taken up by patients who no longer needed to be in hospital. And in the South East, 87.7% of hospital beds are occupied on average. Although the app is currently being rolled out across the country, there are concerns that the technology doesn't address the root cause of the bed shortages facing the NHS.
You have to put this initiative in the context of what's going on in the NHS at the moment. And the reason for virtual wards is that there aren't enough beds in hospital. So we now lack bed capacity, and the Royal College of Emergency Medicine is saying we need 13,000 more hospital beds to help alleviate the current crisis.
The government says there is growing evidence that virtual wards are a safe and efficient alternative to hospital care, and that the NHS is expanding the number of hospital beds and plans to recruit and retain more staff. Those behind the technology say it could be just the start.
We were involved in the co-creation, the design, the partnership approach. We're a long-standing partner in the NHS, and that's the way we intend to carry it on. So with the right people and the right ethos and the right kind of processes and technology, I think this could be really exciting.
The app is not designed to replace in-person hospital appointments, but it could indicate the start of a new digital era of healthcare for us all. Amrit Birdie, ITV News.
The ITV Evening News continues with the national and international news at 6:30 with a preview. Lucrezia Millerini.
Coming up, the Lucy Letby trial. The nurse accused of murdering babies takes the stand for the first time, saying she didn't harm any children. Also, more than 1 million NHS staff in England have accepted the government's pay offer, but the main nursing union says more strikes could be on the cards. And generations divided. An ITV News poll reveals how the King could struggle to gain the support of the young. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Before that, let's get the sports. Sarah joins us in the studio. Good evening.
Thank you, Matt. Well, Swindon Town have today begun their search for a new manager after sacking Jody Morris after only 18 games in charge. 44-year-old Morris was appointed at the end of January with the League Two team in 6th place. Following Saturday's 2-1 defeat at Crewe, their 10th, having won 4 matches during his time at the helm. Staying in League Two, where Crawley Town boss Scott Lindsay, who was Morris's predecessor at Swindon, says he wants to repay the fans for their loyalty after the club secured league survival. A goalless draw at home to Walsall was enough to avoid relegation, and Lindsay says he wants to go on to win trophies for the fans who stuck with him.
But yeah, no, listen, I'm over the moon to make sure that we have League Two football there at this football club. They deserve it. It's a proper club. Unbelievable fan base, unbelievable people behind the scenes, and we deserve to be there.
Big relief at Crawley. Another of our teams, though, far safe from relegation is Southampton. Sunday's defeat at Newcastle leaves Saints at the foot of the table. Next up, Nottingham Forest on Saturday. Bournemouth, meanwhile, moved closer to securing their Premier League status with a 4-1 victory on Sunday over relegation-threatened Leeds United. Now, the chairman of one of the biggest disability football leagues in the South is quite literally about to go the extra mile to ensure the club has a future. The league ensures the game is available for everyone to enjoy. It's supported by clubs throughout the county, and its chairman and staff are determined to make it even more successful.
Xero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Steve Atkins is swapping football boots for walking boots to raise money for an organisation very close to his heart. He'll walk 100 miles over 3 days in June to raise vital funds for the Sussex Disability Football League, and he'll be joined by players and volunteers.
100 miles at my age, probably not that easy, but yeah, we're up for it. I think it's as I say, it's about 30 miles a day, I think, and we're going to be like walking through the night, I think, a couple of times. But no, we're up for it. It's a good cause, and we've got to do it.
The league offers regular small-sided matches for male and female players of all abilities at the 3G Stadium pitch in Lancing. But it does, of course, incur ever-increasing running costs, with Steve hoping to raise £12,000 to keep the club going for another season.
It's just something that everybody looks forward to. You know, it gives you a goal to strive for, and it's just proper football. I can only say it's just proper football. If you ever come and see it, it's great.
And it's not just money Steve wants to raise, but awareness too of pan-disability football in Sussex and beyond. He knows it offers so much to those who love the game and might otherwise have nowhere else to play.
It means I can do things I like to do and start coaching. I feel happy and safe in the place like I like to play here.
To see the smiles on the faces and the cheering and the parents seeing their children doing what they love is enough for me. It's really good. You can't beat it.
It just gives you that feeling of football like everybody else does in mainstream and everywhere else. And that's the whole thing. It's just football. And everybody gets involved, comes along, has a great old time.
Steve will set off from Worthing Town Football Club, calling in at Crawley Town and finishing his challenge at Brighton's Amex Stadium.
good luck to them. It's a great cause. Right, in cricket, congratulations to the Southern Vipers, who celebrated a 3-wicket victory against the Central Sparks yesterday at Wormsley. Vipers captain Georgia Adams starred with bat and ball to power her side to victory in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. Adams took 4 for 30 and then made 50 as her side reached 184 for 7. And world number 2 test batter Australian Steve Smith has arrived at Sussex ahead of the short-term deal that'll see him play 3 county championship games.
Hey everyone, Steve Smith here. Great to be here in Sussex. I look forward to getting started in a couple of days' time. Should be a great couple of weeks and I'm looking forward to it.
And he'll be available for selection for Sussex's trip to Worcestershire later this week.
Very exciting. Oh, thank you.
Yes, welcome to him. Now, an 8-man team of mainly disabled veterans is getting ready for a 1,200-mile kayaking challenge along one of the most dramatic coastlines in the world.
The team includes double-leg amputee Neil Heritage from Poole, who says the aim of the trip along the route known as the Inside Passage from Seattle to Skagway in Alaska is to raise awareness of the not-forgotten military charity. Here's Richard Slee.
Neil is all set for his latest challenge. He's on his way to America's west coast to paddle the rocky coastline. The 1,200-mile distance will take about 100 days, and the team seen here training in Sweden will be totally self-reliant.
It's going to be incredibly tough, and actually we're expecting it not to be the kayaking part that's extra hard for us. We think it's going to be the on-land stuff, the moving the equipment to the campsites, the getting around the quite uneven landscape up there, the rocks. It's going to be wet, slippy, difficult. We think that's going to be the real challenge for the disabled members of the crew.
Since Neil lost his legs in an explosion in Iraq nearly 20 years ago, he's been no stranger to tough challenges. He's run triathlons and he's rowed across the Atlantic.
Bring it home, Neil!
And 3 years ago, he became the first above-the-knee double amputee to summit the Matterhorn.
2020.
This expedition was originally planned to cover the length of the Amazon, but the pandemic and increasing safety concerns forced the change to North America.
The only way we can do it without a really significant budget change is an unsupported trip up the route. And the way we're doing that is we're posting our resupplies to sort of small fishing villages up the coast, and we'll collect them as we go. So we can live for about 2 weeks out of the kayaks and carry enough food, and then we'll have to get to our resupply points.
Over the next few months, Neil's team hopes to raise £250,000 for the Not Forgotten military charity, which has been supporting ex-service personnel with disabilities since 1920.
In terms of outside the Veterans Network, they're probably one of the lesser known charities, but they have been around a long time. They've done a lot for a lot of people. So I think that's one of the reasons we'd like to help raise the profile.
Another reason Neil takes on these challenges is to show that a severe disability doesn't have to be a barrier to living a meaningful life. Richard Slee, ITV News, Poole.
An incredible challenge, and Neil's got in touch with us to say he and the rest of the team are now just outside of Seattle in Washington State, and they're hoping to set off on their 100-day journey by the end of this week, and we do of course wish them all the very best of luck.
And apparently there are some delays in getting their kayaks to the location at the moment, so they must be sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah.
Wanted to get that in. Anyway, weather time now is Ashley.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Hello there, and a very good evening to everybody at home. Well, high pressure just about clinging on, bringing us some dry and settled weather, but it's down to the southwest. This is where we're looking for our next change in the weather. Low pressure slowly working its way northwards and eastwards and off the Atlantic, bringing a change as we head towards the end of the week. So through Thursday evening, something a little bit damp on the way. But until then, We've got some dry weather around. As we head through this evening then, all of the cloud that was around today is going to melt away. A dry night for all of us to come. It's going to stay fairly blustery along the south coast. Further inland with lighter winds, we may just have the odd pocket of mist and fog first thing tomorrow morning. But it will be a dry start, a fresh start, temperatures dropping back to around 6 degrees Celsius. Now through tomorrow we're going to have much more in the way of sunshine on offer, and that breeze is going to start to develop inland, so fairly blustery through the afternoon, and that is going to make it feel a little bit fresher. So despite the sunshine out there, temperatures dropping back a degree or so, highs of around 15 to 17 degrees Celsius. Now the next high tide at Brighton is at 11:15 in the morning, and then again at 2 minutes past 11 tomorrow evening. But it's from Wednesday into Thursday that we start to see that low pressure working its way slowly but surely in from the southwest, and that is going to bring some showery outbreaks of rain as we head through Saturday. A few weather fronts to push through on that southwesterly breeze, bringing more of a showery regime to end the week. So as we head into Thursday, starting off fine and dry, but eventually some showers working their way in. Heavy showers around as we head through Friday, with just the occasional shower by Saturday.
Vaillant sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
And just time to look ahead to tomorrow night's programme.
Hip hooray for the King and Queen! Hip hooray for the King and Queen!
Yeah, we're going to be finding out how schools are preparing to celebrate the coronation, from processions in the playground to the pupils putting together special dance routines just for the special day.
Well, it's going to be an event to remember for thousands of children who are busy making crowns and flags and learning lessons about history and creativity as they prepare for the crowning of King Charles III.
Yes, more on that on the programme tomorrow. In a moment, of course, the ITV Evening News is coming up with Lucrezia Millerini tonight.
Matt will have your late update just after 10:30. For now, though, from all of us here, thank you so much for watching. Let's do it again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.